Good afternoon. I want to start by welcoming everyone and thanking you for taking the time to join us today. It's an honor to have you all here at our incredible center. My name is Sonia, and I've been a parent at Two Rivers Head Start for a very long time. All of my children have attended here. This program has been a foundation for my family, providing support for my children, but also a strong community of resources and care. Since 2021, I've had the honor of serving as the Policy Council representative, which has allowed me to be more involved in the decisions that affect our centers and ensure that our voices as parents are heard. If the center were to close down, it would not only affect my family, but many others who rely on it for early childhood education and support. This place is more than just a daycare. It is a school, a food pantry, and a help center. This place is my village. Two Rivers Head Start is vital to the success of families in our community, and it's crucial that we continue to support it. Thank you. And now, Governor Pritzker.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much. And good morning, everybody. Should we in the afternoon already, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, we've been together all day. So I really appreciate you, and I appreciate the work that you do here, and of course, raising your children, putting them through Head Start, vitally important for their future, and I'm grateful for that. For many of us who've been engaged in early childhood development and early childhood education for decades, we know that Sonia and the other parent leaders are the backbone of Head Start. The teachers here, the administrators here are, vital. They're angels that serve our families so well. And they and the rest of the staff really are why parents rely on Two Rivers Head Start to help give their youngest kids, the right start in life. Senator Duckworth and I have been able to speak with folks here and at other Head Start centers, hearing about the challenges that they go through. And they are still dealing with the fallout of President Trump's unconstitutional effort to interrupt and shut down critical funding for programs that help working families and their youngest children. Now, if the federal government, if the administration isn't paying its bills, Head Start can't continue to function. They have to pay their teachers and their staff, they have to pay their utilities, they have to maintain their quality classrooms, they have to provide and give kids the security and the safety so that parents can go to work. And it's a contract, it's an agreement that's made, and President Trump wants to breach that contract. Now, providers like Two Rivers are not working with huge margins. So it's not like they're sitting on a bunch of money socked away to cover, the malfeasance of the Trump administration, or as I like to say, President Musk, who are withholding funding from them. So they do the best they can with what they have, but federal funding is what they rely upon, and it's absolutely necessary. Kelly, I very much appreciate your leadership here. You started as a volunteer here, I understand, 35 years ago, and now serve as the executive director of Two Rivers. And you've shared with us that you have to make hard decisions, and you had to make some hard decisions just yesterday due to the uncertainty that these federal actions have caused. And I'm sure that all of us are interested in hearing about what those challenges have been. People need to know why this has been so hard on a Head Start center like Two Rivers. Being in the early childhood arena is hard. For people who don't know, it's vital work, it's hard work, there are long hours, and remember, you're caring for very young children, you're also helping parents manage their lives by taking care of their children, and the work, the education that's required, the effort, honestly, is something that we should all hold up and honor. And I'm honestly angry that the president and his pet oligarch don't care. They don't seem to care one whit about these folks or about the children that they serve. So Two Rivers is just one of many charitable nonprofits that we've been listening to across the state of Illinois. They rely on federal funding to help working families and people in need, and shelters for unhoused youth, programs for victims of domestic violence, healthcare clinics, Meals on Wheels for seniors, and on and on. Working families and the most vulnerable people in our state are experiencing real pain. And if you think I'm upset, talk to those families. Talk to the people who are directly affected when Donald Trump and Elon Musk are taking away funding for things that they've relied on for decades. So despite what Donald Trump and Elon Musk think, these aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. These are people. They're real people. They're working parents. They're children whose lives Donald Trump is playing games with. And it's not just impacting, like I said, nonprofits. As I mentioned, the programs that really matter also include reports that we're getting from farmers and small businesses across the state. We're only a few weeks into this new Trump administration, and we're hearing all about price increases that are happening within businesses, price increases that are happening at the grocery store. I thought we were promised that prices were going to come down when this administration came into office. Services are being cut. Jobs are being lost as a result. 2 weeks ago, when President Trump cut funding for programs for seniors, for kids, for working families, again, it's been this very short period of time. They lied to us. We were not told that these programs were going to be cut. And even when they said we're going to bring them back online, they were still lying to us about that. And it became abundantly clear that this administration is either incompetent or it's cruel. And I hate to tell you, it turns out that they're both. In fact, I think cruelty is the point. And I don't say that with any glee. I'm just telling you, it appears they don't really care at all. And the people of Illinois are the ones who are paying the price for that. In these moments, especially when Illinois families need a hero, we all turn to none other than our really great Senator Tammy Duckworth. She's a personal hero of mine, and she's somebody who is in Washington fighting hard in this very difficult moment to restore services and funding for the programs that really matter. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to my hero, our state's hero, Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for those very generous remarks. And I remember the early days of the pandemic when you fought so hard to bring PPE and necessary equipment to the state of Illinois, even as Donald Trump was telling people to inject bleach into their veins and was trying to steal that same PPE that you had actually found to help the people of Illinois so that we could be protected. Thank you for your leadership in the state and continued leadership. Good afternoon, everyone. While I wish it was under better circumstances, it's good to be here with the governor, the hardworking staff of Head Start, and the families who rely on this incredibly critical program. Like many here today, I was absolutely shocked when Donald Trump declared a blanket freeze on all federal grants, ignoring the fact that Congress had already appropriated these funds, and it was actually federal law that he did not have the authority to freeze the funds. He ignored that he point blank that his action would and already has hurt countless folks who rely on these grants for their most basic needs. Now, President Trump may think that he stuck it to the Democrats by trying to take away your Medicaid, your 5-year-old's right to a school meal, or your local hospital's medical funding. But what he's really done is manufactured a crisis where everyone, including his own voters, who depend on programs like Head Start, are hurting, worried about whether their local child care provider will be forced to close their doors. Because if you think Trump's illegal funding freeze is actually paused and the financial pain that many are feeling is paused along with it, well, you would be wrong. The financial setbacks triggered by Trump's illegal freeze are cruelly forcing providers to weigh impossible decisions, like how they'll pay to both keep their lights on and feed the children who depend on them, whether they'll need to temporarily shut down or close their doors permanently. Some agencies have already been forced to terminate devoted members of their staff, or have even had to deny families' applications because they simply don't know if they can afford to care for one more child during these uncertain times. Bottom line, Donald Trump's freeze is causing irreversible damage that never should have happened in the first place. For most working parents, affordable childcare is not a luxury, it's a necessity so that they can actually go to work. The Federal Reserve tells us that childcare problems are the main barrier parents face when seeking a job, and it's also the main reason for missed work. Now, child development experts will tell you that high school graduation rates depend on fourth grade literacy rates, and the biggest predictor of fourth grade literacy rates is whether or not a child actually attended an early childhood education program like Head Start. So this program that begins here in these walls, in these loving walls, affects whether or not a child will graduate high school later on in life. And don't we want all of our children to be able to graduate high school and go on to college and have great jobs? It begins right here in places like this. Head Start is that lifeline. It helps families unlock economic opportunities, enhancing their children's development while making our communities safer. It serves those living in poverty. It serves children in foster care, children experiencing homelessness, people with color, children with disabilities. And because of Donald Trump, low-income families are at risk of losing the critical early child care and educational services they need so that parents can send their child to school while they themselves go to work. But Trump doesn't care that this illegal funding freeze is hurting some of the most vulnerable people. Elon Musk has no idea what it's like to wake up in the morning terrified that his child would not have a hot meal that day. Neither of them care about making government work better for everybody, for everyday people. They don't care about the middle class. They just want to make government work better for them and their billionaire buddies. Well, I'll be here at every turn, along with our governor, working together to stop them and their outrageous abuses of power. And I'll continue to work with our governor to hold them accountable and repair the damage that they've done to families across our great state of Illinois. So thank you for joining us here today and for being our partners in this fight. And now I'm going to turn it over to Executive Director of Two Rivers, Kelly Nidell, who, as the governor mentioned, started off as a volunteer, became a teacher, and eventually a leader of this wonderful place where there's so much love and support for our children.
Thank
Kelly.
you so much. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. First of all, I want to introduce the people that we have behind me that are also included in Head Start. We have Dr. Munson from Elgin Community College on our board, Myra Sandoval, our HR department, Lori Morrison-Fitchell from Illinois Head Start Association, and Allison Art. She is our vice chair on our board. Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the families that we specifically serve in our agency. 37% of our children are experiencing homelessness. 3% of them are foster children. 11% are living at 0 to 100% of the poverty line. 43% receive public assistance. We have a total of 241 funded enrollment slots at 3 centers located in Elgin, Aurora, and Sycamore. 53 staff members for Head Start, and then we also have a CSBG program that helps families in crisis with rent, those types of things. Head Start is different from a regular preschool. It's not just, we're here to teach the children. We also work with the families. It's bringing the families up. Out of our centers, every center has full day, full year for working parents that are hardworking. They're just still living under poverty. So we work with the whole family. Our funding, we've always, in my 35 years, we've had bipartisan support with our funding. I have never, ever been worried. I planned on retiring from Head Start, but now it's just everything's up in the air. Every day's changes. One day the system is turned on, the next day it's not. Each time we're getting a different reason. We were able to draw down funds yesterday, which was very exciting. There was lots of excitement in our office. But people have the misconception when you're federally funded that when you get your grant money, you just get this whole pool of money, and that is not the case. We have to turn in our upcoming bills, show what we're going to use the money for, and then we put in a request for that amount of money, and then they send that to us. So we've been awarded the grant, but we cannot have the whole grant at one time. being a nonprofit, we rely on that. You know, like it's nonprofit, we can't set a bunch of money aside like I wish we could, like I wish we had a secret stash, but we don't. So when it goes day to day, and you know, literally I was waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning checking our bank account, did we have money? Are we going to have to let the staff go tomorrow? You know, it's a constant. You know, I was checking every 2 hours, and then our fiscal officer texted me at 6 in the morning and said the funds arrived. It's hard to work that way. Our teachers at Head Start, because we do expect much more than a normal daycare, work so hard, and the thought of them being stressed about this and us losing staff because of this situation, it's horrible. You know, I mean, you know, anyone that lives paycheck to paycheck. Now think about it, like you're expecting your check on Friday, you're going to pay these bills, but nope, you know, we changed our mind, we're not going to pay you this week. You know, that's hard, that's stressful, and we already have enough stress. But I just want to let you know that, you know, we impact our whole community, and if the children couldn't attend, the parents couldn't go to work, and everyone would suffer. So thank you very much, and to you, Governor.
Happy to take any questions the Senator and I or anybody that's up here.
I have one for Helene, possibly. What do you expect the most?
Kelly?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Oh, Kelly.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Kelly, based off of your discussions, what do you think the most immediate cuts could be at Two Rivers? Should we be worried about diminished resources or even like shutdowns?
We did let 2 staff go yesterday just to try and save some money. You know, being uncertain, we don't want to let any center staff go because the parents count on them. You know, our board's working on additional funds, you know, maybe donations. I'm actually looking into the Kellogg Corporation. They have a foundation, trying to figure other means to get help if this ever happens again. You know, I can't say, I didn't log on today to see if it was up. The HSES site was down.
If I can just add to this, because you, as we talked before we
Yes.
came on, you know, several classrooms out of a total, you know, of how many classrooms do you have here?
Here we have just 3.
Just 3. So, but 2 of them I think are Head Start classrooms. Is that
They're
correct?
all Head Start.
All.
2 of the classrooms are for parents who work full time and year round, and the other 2 the other classroom is for parents that work part time or don't meet the requirements for childcare.
And the challenge is that Head Start is really what predominantly funds Head Start
Yes.
classrooms, right? So it's not like they can't get by. And in other centers, you've got other classrooms. You've got maybe a child care classroom. You've got a couple of Head Start. If the Head Start funding goes away, I mean, could be 2/3, or in this case, all of the classrooms. Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting funded for Head Start, the other services will also potentially go away because you still have a building here. You've got rent, or you know, you've got your mortgage, or you've got to maintain some staff. You've got to keep the building in good shape. That is a fixed cost that you've got, and if you take away a good portion of the funding that comes from the federal government, even state funding or local or charitable funding that comes to it isn't enough to cover it all. No. So it is a huge problem, and I don't think Kelly wants to say it, but it is true that the threat here is at some point you can't keep the doors open. And if you delay the funding even by a couple of weeks, again, there's no stockpile or storehouse or secret funding, as Kelly said, that exists somewhere. We're like, well, we'll just grab the money out of that drawer over there. So it's deeply concerning because once the doors closed, and we saw this in Illinois under the prior governor when we had no budget for a couple of years, and that is when your funding goes away and you're a small organization and you don't have a balance sheet, if your funding goes away, you're going to close the doors. I mean, and once you close the doors, it's near impossible to reopen them again. So this is detrimental. It's existential what they're doing, and it's dangerous, frankly, for the people of Illinois, especially working families.
And really, you know, I've had people say, well, with the funding freeze was halted, there was a temporary restraining order put in by a judge, but here's the bottom line: we're already losing providers I've already heard from multiple places like this location that already had to lay off 2 workers because of the uncertainty. I've talked with the YWCA where they've had some of their providers who are mom and pop shops say, I can't deal with uncertainty of this, so I'm just going to pull out of the Head Start program completely. So that is, 30 children here, 10 children there, and we're losing the capacity to take care of these kids. And those folks may never, as the governor said, may never come back into the program. So to say that the freeze is in effect, no harm, no foul. There's a lot of harm that is happening when Donald Trump issued this illegal order and when Elon Musk got into the financial systems of the United States, including your social security numbers, my social security numbers, and halted those payments and shut down those portals. It actually drove child care providers out of the business of taking care of children. And that affects everybody. It affects people who are low income. It affects the middle class, any one of us that have young children. It affects all of us, and we should be worried that this is happening nationwide.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.